Welcome to What Converts, the Demand IQ podcast for contractors and home improvement pros who want to turn more prospects into customers. I'm your host, Austin Rosenbaum, and today we're joined by David Mandujano, who breaks down how Great Lakes Home Remodeling uses modern marketing and AI tools to educate homeowners, lower lead costs, and convert more roofing and exterior jobs. Get ready for real insights that you can use in your business to grow and discover what actually converts in today's age. Let's dive in. David, welcome to What Converts. It's awesome to have you on the show. And before you dive in, can you just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do in the home improvement space?
Sure, Austin. My name is David. I'm a creative and growth marketer. I have been doing this for about 12 years now. My career has been pretty non-linear in a good way. I've worked across several different industries: retail, e-commerce, legal, finance, and each one forces you to learn how customers think, what they trust, and what they respond to. I actually didn't grow up thinking I'd work in home remodeling. I was working in New Zealand as a marketer, and I ended up receiving an offer from a U.S. home remodeling company based in Ohio. It was one of those opportunities where you recognize the upside if you're willing to move and build. So I jumped in. That was about 4 years ago, and I have been focused on this industry ever since. More recently, I joined Great Lakes Home Remodeling, and it's been an interesting and exciting journey because the pace of growth and innovation here is very different from what people expect out of construction.
And tell me a little bit more about Great Lakes. Like what size are you guys at, like revenue or employees, and then where do you focus, and what are the primary products that you guys are selling?
Well, Great Lakes was founded by Doug Farr. Doug's been in the industry for nearly 3 decades and has played major roles in companies that scale past $400 million in revenue. After seeing what worked and what didn't at scale, he decided to build Great Lakes from the ground up with, I think, a very clear intention, which is to do things differently and put long-term value first. We are right now at a close to 100 employees at the moment. And one thing that sets us apart is the quality of our solutions. We offer a wide range of services: windows, siding, gutters, roofing. But one of our most unique offerings is stone-coated metal roofing. It's a lifetime roof that looks like shingles, and not many companies in our region offer it, and fewer do it properly. But the product side is, I think, only half. The other half is how we treat people. We care about homeowners, not just as customers, but as member of our community. We always present ourselves locally. We invest in people, and that attention in the experience, is the experience that customers have with us.
The putting that customer first is definitely a huge differentiator for a lot of businesses out there. What is your customer like? Like, who are the people that you're working with? Like, are you more focused on cities and metropolitan areas? Are you more rural folk? And how does that influence your marketing strategy?
Well, we are always trying to stay ahead. We mostly focus in suburban areas. We operate in the Midwest, more specifically in the southern Michigan, southeast Michigan, and northeast Ohio. And we constantly look at what's happening around the country and outside of the industry. So we're always trying to get, homeowners who are trying to trying to be proactive with their decision making and making a purchase that is literally going to add value to their home and basically change their lives because it's a generational roof.
Yeah. So that roof product that you're putting on, that metal roof, can you elaborate a little bit about that unique product just for anyone who maybe isn't familiar with that particular product? What is that exactly?
Sure. So it's a still stone coated metal roof. What that means is that you have the standing seam, and then you have a stone coated metal roof which looks just like shingles. Before, they used to be very heavy. Now they're very thin. They don't make any noise. They don't mess with your electronics or with your reception or anything like that. And when you look at them, you wouldn't even know it's a metal roof. So the whole point is to make them look like a shingle roof, because I think one of the biggest complaints that people had about metal roofs despite people liking their durability, was, well, they look kind of ugly, they look kind of flat, or they make it look like a farmhouse. So people were looking for that durability, but they did not like the look. So we are aiming to provide a solution for residential customers who want to provide a one-time solution for their home remodeling improvements, and that's what a stone-coated metal roof does.
Got it. And what about price point? Is this like a premium product, or how does that fall into just the overall price point of roof replacement? I assume like the lifetime cost is lower, but is it a more expensive product up front?
It is. It is a higher ticket item that we provide at a higher ticket service. But like you mentioned, compared to traditional asphalt shingle roofs, we are sure that you're not going to replace your roof every 15 or 20 years. Some of the manufacturers say that, we will get 30 years out of your roof lifespan, but in most cases you won't, because weather, any other accidents or situations can appear that one make your roof last 30 years. So we're looking at 15 to 20, sometimes 10 to 15. So that means that if you buy a house and you are planning to stay permanently in that house, you probably will replace your roof at least twice. So if you add that up and you compare it to the cost of a stone coated metal roof, you are paying less upfront and getting a lifetime warranty on this stone coated metal roof, and it won't require as much maintenance, and it will add equity to your home and lower your insurance for once, and your energy bills as well.
So when you're selling this, this unique product in the market, how does that influence your strategy around marketing communications? Like, do people that you meet, are they shopping for exactly what you sell, or do you have to educate them about your product? And if so, how do you do that?
It does come with a lot of education. Like I mentioned, not a lot of companies offer this product, and not a lot of companies offer this stone coated metal roof in our region. So it is a job that our salespeople and marketing people have to do, because people don't know what that is. People don't know that a stone coated metal roof exists. They don't know how it looks. They don't know what are the upsides, and they have a distorted idea of what the downsides might be. Like I mentioned, like if you think about a metal roof, you'd think like it's noisy when it rains. You're thinking about your reception. You're thinking about how do you maintain it. Stuff like that would happen with if you just had like a piece of metal on above your house, but that's not
Yeah.
the case with stone coated metal roofs. So you do have to educate the customer on what the benefits are, what maintenance is like, and what are the benefits that they get from acquiring a product like this.
So, do you think that that responsibility of education should primarily fall on marketing, or should it fall mostly on sales? And how do you balance that at your company? Like, do you generate asphalt roof leads and then convert them, or talk to me about the dynamic between education and marketing versus sales.
Well, we work it as a team, right? So on the marketing side, we always try to provide with educational content, whether that is on our website, on our social content, on or even in our ads. We put out ads about what a metal roof is, about what myths and truths about metal roof, but also for people who don't know about this product and are inquiring about asphalt shingle roofs, when our sales reps are out at the appointment, they do explain what that is at for the customer, even if if they weren't inquiring necessarily about a metal roof. And we do the same thing when people have an appointment for a stone coated metal roof. We also show them what an asphalt shingle roof is, in case they're simply inquiring and they don't know about the upfront cost. It might be out of their price range, so we're happy to move to an asphalt shingle roof. So in both cases, we present the differences, the benefits, the downsides of both products. But we're a team. Sales rep do their job, and marketing team does their job as well.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely think that there's, an important dynamic between the two, but so much of the what we're consuming online, like I talk a little bit about the shift towards a marketing dominated funnel where people are doing more research online than they've ever done before. I mean, that's influenced by things like Amazon, right? Where you can go on Amazon and you're like, I think I need Actually, I was looking for an electric fireplace the other day, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know the first thing about electric fireplace, but I can go on, read those reviews, like learn a little bit about some of the differences of what's out there, and you really just start this kind of shopping behavior. And I think that
Yep.
that's carried into almost everything we buy, is that people are spending more time now online than ever before. Are you seeing, yeah, how, by the way, David, how long have you been, working at Great Lakes? And, just for my context, how long have you been there and what changes have you seen?
I have been working here for about 6 months now, and I have been in
Okay.
home remodeling for about 4 years. And during
Okay.
this 4 months, we've seen a lot of changes because, like I said, this company is really focused on growth and innovation. So we've really seen a lot of changes in regards to our tools that we use. Like you said, we're basing our decisions on what customers are doing, what people are doing. For example, if a tool or strategy is transforming how people buy groceries, book travel, or manage their finances, that means that customer expectations have shifted and we want to meet those expectations first. So our approach is to educate ourselves, talk to the people actually innovating, evaluate new tools, test them, and when it makes sense, adopt them. And we're not waiting for a trend to be mainstream before we move. That's how, in my opinion, companies stagnate. So we
Yep.
focused on what can give customers a better experience and give our team better leverage. If the idea aligns with those two things, we go for it.
Nice. And so along those lines, are there any particular strategies or tools that really have moved the needle for you? Like what have you seen and what have you tried and what's working?
I think with adopting these new tools and partnering with these new companies, the biggest strategy is having the right team. If you have curious people who enjoy learning and aren't afraid of change, everything else becomes easier. With AI, automation, new software, none of it matters if the team is blocking innovation because they're comfortable or rigid. We've invested in people who like to test, who like to iterate, who understand that no tool is perfect on day one.
Right.
When you have that mindset internally, things like automation and AI driven marketing and new platforms actually work. And they're not shiny objects. They become extensions for our team.
Okay, so basically, your secret sauce a little bit is that you need to hire people that are ready to embrace technology. That, like, if you hire people
Yeah.
who, unfortunately, there's a lot of these in the home improvement space, are just, hey, we do things the old-fashioned way, or like, yeah, maybe we'll come around to it someday, this
Yep.
AI thing. Like, that's the problem. So that you're saying the problem is the people aren't ready to embrace the technology, and that's something that is truly a competitive advantage for you, it sounds like.
Yes, at Great Lakes, we are on top of it. When I first joined during my interview, one of the questions that I had was, how do you feel about using AI as, as a tool for your everyday work? That was one of the questions that I had on my interview, which for me was, I was not expecting to hear that for a home remodeling company in in honesty, and I liked it, and I embrace AI driven tools and strategies. So I said, like, it's already part of my skill set. I use it every day, and it's great that you know you are the type of company that would implement it, and are it's kind of like a requirement right now. So I really like that, but that's how we're training these new tools and software and strategies at Great Lakes. It's a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean, and the ongoing hiring process. Yeah, I guess asking about ChatGPT, how are you using it in your day, sounds like definitely a great prerequisite question for hiring somebody if they're not using at least ChatGPT, right? Of all the
Yeah.
apps out there, that's something. What other tools, like, we can get to Demand IQ later, but like what's moving the needle for you? Like what categories? So look, we've got ChatGPT as like a kind of a workflow, covers every base. Like, what tools are important for your business right now that maybe are AI enabled or not AI enabled? Like what's helpful?
Well, if you're talking personally, like I do use AI tools like ChatGPT, like Gemini. I play a lot around with Midjourney for our graphics and for some of the sign work that I do. And as far as the company, we have vendors who are third party plugin plugged into our company that use AI software to work around what we're doing. And also, I believe, sorry, I lost my train of thought. We can cut this part. Can you repeat the question? I'll answer again. Yeah.
I think the question was what categories of tooling or specific tools are
Yeah.
helpful for you? Like what are you seeing that's really moving the needle? And what would you say to another person who's maybe in your shoes that they should check out? I know you mentioned Mid-Journey to me previously. Like what's important to other people in similar roles as you?
Yeah, I believe tools that can do the heavy lifting, like ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity. A lot of people use Claude for code and to do the heavy lifting on some of your work. And I believe that as a company, we would be hoping to see something like a CRM that implements AI for reporting, for dealing with a bunch of stuff. I believe that would be like a great, if possible, like a Swiss knife of a CRM that includes AI and could do a lot of that heavy lifting. I think that's something that we're missing in general, not only in our industry but in general. I think that would be it's been, I believe, poorly implemented in some CRMs, but something like that would really be groundbreaking, and it would really not only disrupt but really improve the way companies operate. And I think we're all waiting for that.
Did you hear that, Job Nimbus, Acculinks, Service Titan,
Yeah,
Proline? Sounds like your customers are wanting more AI native functionality. I mean, there's a huge opportunity for folks to talk to their CRM just like they talk to their prospect or talk to their boss. And as a manager, right, like in David's shoes, you sounds like you want to be able to run reports, like be able to say how many leads were generated in Q2 and what was the close rate from Facebook, right?
yeah,
Wouldn't that be helpful if you could just query that and run that report? It's funny. I was the very first time I ever heard of like natural language based AI was actually about 5 years ago, and I was at a utility industry conference of all things, and this person was talking about how they were letting utility companies query their database to put together reports, and it just like blew my mind that you'd be able to use like your own natural language to just say create
yeah,
this and make it right. And now I'm sure, David, you've done this. You probably uploaded data into ChatGPT and said, hey, can I get a bar chart with blah 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 and blah blah blah, and it builds it. So yeah, I think there's a huge gap right now in terms of AI and roofing or exterior remodeling and the tooling that's available. I think in some ways we're trying to close that gap. I think we're still a long way to go. And David, I know that you've gotten some sneak peeks at some of our upcoming products and how we're trying to
yeah,
use more AI native workflows. But even just like behind the scenes, man, when you said to me, I just want to like I want a CRM that I can talk to. Gosh, someone's got to jump on that. Like someone's got to
yeah,
build that.
for sure. And now that I can talk about it, I was under an NDA, but I can talk about it. I was on the alpha for ChatGPT Atlas, the browser. So
Yeah.
I was able to preview it for a couple of weeks before it was launched, and I don't think it was as popular as as people were expecting, but it was actually like a great tool. I'll just give you an example of things that it can do that people are not thinking about, which is the type of stuff that I would hope for a CRM to do that implemented AI. But since it's browser based, people that were testing it, what we were doing is people who were accountants were using QuickBooks Online and just having it on the sidebar as an agent and have it do a lot of the heavy lifting for reading all these spreadsheets.
Yep.
So having something like that, just like when you are on your Google Sheets and you have Gemini on the side, having an agent or having like a chat bot on your CRM to provide with, like you said, with those reports or be able to talk to it would be amazing.
Yeah. It is much nicer. It's isn't it one thing I heard recently from another entrepreneur was, gosh, isn't it funny that like the innovations in technology today are really just a search bar with some text that's coming up on the page, right? Like, isn't it funny that we went down this whole like form factor of like beautiful products and like, apps got so beautiful and so interactive, and now we're back at basically flat text. I thought that was a funny comment that another entrepreneur made, that like simplicity maybe is like actually beautiful, that like just having something I can talk with is really all I really need. It doesn't need to be that beautiful.
Yeah,
I want to
maybe we
ask you
reached the
about.
golden era of UX for those type of apps, and that's the its best shape.
Yeah, it's funny, right? And I mean it makes sense because just like we're doing today in this studio, right? Like, yes, I can see your face, but this is just basically the same as being in real life, and that how people really want to communicate is just in their natural way. And so I think that makes a lot of sense that things have moved back in that direction, but it's definitely an interesting observation. Now, I want to change the gears a little bit because obviously,
Sure.
David, we've been connected for a little while. How did you first hear about me or about Demand IQ, and yeah, what got you interested initially in connecting with us?
Doug, or CEO, he was the one who brought it to the table. I believe he met you in person. I don't know if it was at an event or something
Yes.
like that. He told me he met you in person. Um, at that time, Great Lakes was actively looking at tools that could modernize the online experience for homeowners. We weren't interested in landing pages with forms and three fields. We wanted something that gave customers the ability to explore and compare and get an estimate in a way that felt intuitive. Demand IQ, I believe, aligned with that vision, with Doc's vision for Great Lakes. And I don't think you were pitching, like a lead capture tool. I think it was more of a digital experience, and that's exactly where the industry is going.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys were looking to digitize your business and kind of change the customer experience. What do you think? Why do you think that was important? Like, why now? Like, why was that something that you were thinking about now? What came up in your business that became relevant?
Well, as I said, we're always looking for tools to that are innovating and that are changing the game, basically. And like I've said, we've looked at customers' behavior and just experiences that you would think were so personal have changed and swifted in the recent years, just like Carvana. Just to say an example, like the way you can just buy a car online, and you get a trailer and it drops off your car. You just buy it and you get it. That's it. Drops it off at your home. I think that's kind of where, as the target market age, as the average age for the homeowner switches from the previous generation to millennials, which are a big market right now. They're looking for, like I said before, experiences that they're accustomed to at the moment. So if your average millennial who's recently become a homeowner, it's accustomed to Amazon, it's accustomed to Carvana, it's accustomed to talking to ChatGPT, that's the experience that they want to have. They don't want to deal with a lot of the stuff that a lot of people think it's a great customer experience, just like having someone show up and hand you a pamphlet, something physical. As customer behavior changes, we have to improve as well. And I don't think this is necessarily something that is exclusive to the younger generation, just as much as older generations love. For example, they love Amazon Alexa. For example, they just love it. That's how they shop. That's how they do their online shopping, and they're used to that. So thinking that my target market is not accustomed to that, so I don't think that's where we're heading. I think that would be silly to assume. So as the customer behaviors change, we want to improve and adapt so we can provide that experience to them.
That definitely makes sense. Are you seeing more people calling in, like asking for, ballpark price, or, have you actually seen how is this like manifested in your business? Like, what is there any specific things that you've seen that customers are asking for that maybe they weren't asking for 2 years ago? Or is this more just, you're observing the trend more externally and kind of trying to make sure that you're ahead of it?
I think the way we're putting it out there is making people question what are these products. The way we're presenting it, it's just easier to inquire. So before, to educate people about or stone coated metal roofs, we would have to actually have an appointment, like a call, and then set up an appointment and then go there and then say to that person like, hey, this is our range of products, this is what this is. And I think the way we've implemented it now, it makes it easier for people to inquire and to go down that funnel online, so they're a little bit more curious, so you can slowly feed information to them that makes them more curious. So for example, like they know, a lot of people know about standing seam metal roofs, but they don't know this other option. So when people are inquiring about a metal roof and they're just curious and they go through our funnel, they're clicking and they see like, oh, I have this options for roofs. I have standing seam. I have this type of stone coated metal roof. This other type of stone coated metal roof. What are the difference? I didn't even know this existed, and that would have been a much more difficult step to reach if we were going through a traditional funnel in which we needed to be at their home or on the phone with them for them to for our reps to explain to them what a range of products is. It's kind of like if you're just browsing online for, even if you're ordering a pizza online on an app or on DoorDash, like you're just browsing around restaurants on DoorDash, but you're not calling the restaurant and asking like, hey, what do you recommend me, like what's good on the menu. But it's just easier to get people interested, to get people curious, and it's easier for us to target them and to present a better pitch after they've inquired and got some information online through a funnel like that.
David, I know I've been working with you on your account now for a few weeks, but one of the things I'm thinking about is that we could incorporate more videos into your estimate page to really talk about the differences between the good, the better, and the best. And that idea that like we can drive people towards that upsell or towards the option that we want them to, like video can do that, right? Like a short video clip could really illustrate why you would go with the premium option, so that when you receive your leads, they're like, yeah, that's what I want. Like you already sold me on on your online estimator page. And that's been a big priority for us. I think that there's a lot of folks out there who, despite these trends towards transparency and consumer evolution with their thinking about shopping, is like there's still a little bit of hesitancy out there about this concept of online pricing or price transparency. And
Yeah.
my whole thing about this is like, I feel like there's a myopic vision of what this actually is. And really what this is more personalized shopping and not just about price estimation. That it's about personalization first. Like
Yeah.
transparency with pricing is only one aspect of personalization. And I think the other aspect of personalization is like helping steer that homeowner into the right product. And if it's that upsell, great. Maybe there's other things that we can do with AI to actually help steer that customer eventually into that perfect product, because that's eventually what your salesperson is doing anyway, right? They're steering the customer. And so anyway, yeah, like just to bring it back, David, we should look at your estimate page and see if we can add some video content there, because you can embed with Demand IQ, you can embed those videos in there and really highlight things and not just be about which one's good, which one's better, which one's best, and what's my price point, but like what's my value? Like I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing, is like what's the value? And I know like another thing that we talked about, was not just price estimation, but special offers was something that helped you guys, drive more
Yes.
conversions as well. So I always talk about like how to get success, right? This podcast is called What Converts, right? Because at the end of the day, there's so many different things, but the thing that, I'm finding that converts is not necessarily just selling an estimate, but selling the company, selling the products, and selling the special offer. when you do that with the combination of the online estimator, the online estimator is like the lubricant, right? The lubricant that like kind of helps things move, because without it, people feel like the bar is too high. Like, I don't want to spend the time getting a quote. I just want to make it easy. And so you lower that barrier to entry with the online estimate, but you can't forget, those things like the special offer, or, really deep descriptions about what makes the difference between good, better, and best. Or even, David, I really think a big thing is like reviews, like making sure that you actually are building trust with that customer about previous work, that they can actually trust that you're the pick. That, like, if you call me, you're the pick that I want to go with, because people say that you're great to work with. So that's all to say, like, I'm not downplaying the online estimate, but man, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. What's been some of your experience with Demand IQ, like, since you've been using it? How before you get into like your experience, how do you use it? Like, what are the main ways that you leverage Demand IQ?
Well, we use it as an online estimator to provide a ballpark estimate for our customers. That's what we try to do. Like you said, we try to give a customized experience, so we use that. We have I guess, a different way to approach it, as opposed to other people from, different industries with like solar or others that I've seen on our master mind sessions. But that's not the only use that we've given it. We've recently started using it just like a regular funnel. So not even using the online estimator part. We decided to test this very recently, and we decided to put it out there just like a regular funnel, just
Yeah.
not adding the price, just because you're using these steps to kind of filter through and get a more qualified lead. That's what we've been doing. But in general, we've been putting it out there as an online estimator tool for our customers to get educated on what the product is, to see the differences, compare products, and see that, maybe what they thought was out of their price range is not actually. So that's kind of how our approach has been.
So you're seeing Demand IQ really more as a funnel builder and not just a
Yes,
price estimator tool. Is that true?
that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so that's like kind of different than other products out there. People might be familiar with like Roofle or something like that. You see Demand IQ as more like a kind of a marketing toolkit, so to speak. What about it, like, makes it good for just general funnel building? Like, what do you like about the product?
Well, we wanted to provide a better experience and stay ahead of where buyers are going. Like I said, and I've said it a couple times, but think about how people buy their groceries, pay their bills online, book their flights. Uh, I think if you provide a three field form, uh, on a very all most of the pages in the home websites on the home remodeling industry kind of look a little bit alike. It gets to feel a little bit outdated. So we wanted to give homeowners a process that made sense to them and felt like everything else they engage with digitally. That naturally improves lead quality because customers are making micro decisions as they move through that funnel. So that's kind of how we see it. We see it as a tunnel that is very friendly and that we've seen very great result from.
Good. Okay. And in general, so I know that I worked with you on a project where you're using it in your Facebook ads. You know,
Yes.
is how does that work in your Facebook ads? Like, what are you doing? I think you're driving, you set up an ad, you drive them straight into the Demand IQ page, right? You're not going to a website at all. Is that still the case?
Yes, we're just sending it directly to our journey page. That's how we set it up. We use Google, Facebook ads, Meta ads in general, and then we drive people to our Demand IQ funnel. We've shared a couple times with other companies at the mastermind class to kind of learn from each other. And like you said, I think ours, because of the distinct product that we offer, we kind of just focused on just that one product, which makes it a lot shorter. So we don't have as many steps, I would say, compared to other industries, and that's also a big factor when people are going down that funnel.
So, like shortening up the journey, and for anyone who's not familiar with journeys and how it works, there's sort of like this page builder, and you can build steps in the journey. So you can say, enter your address, then what's how big's like what's your credit score, like whatever questions you want to ask before you get to the estimate. And basically, David, what I'm hearing you say is the shorter the better, is what you're saying. If you were to give some feedback to anybody, you'd say shorter the better. Is that accurate?
Sure, I would say that, well, people would say that the longer the better lead, because if they went through more steps, they're better qualified. Debatable. I would say that you are also trying to give the customer like you're not only trying to like make them not suffer, but like go through this many steps to see like if they're really interested. But like I said, you're trying to give them like a friendly, seamless experience that similar to what they're used to. And most of the times people will not go through all those steps if they want to inquire about something online, or if they want to learn about a product or service online. They will get a friendly interface, and they will answer a couple questions, or they will click a couple of links or buttons, and they will get their answer. And that's what we're trying to replicate with our funnel.
And how, when switching to this like dynamic personalized funnel, how have the, results compared when using this type of solution versus like a standard contact form? Like what's been your experience with the results that you're getting?
I would say the results that we're getting from Demand IQ are very good. We have seen a when we look at our cost per issue lead versus other digital funnels, that is, regular website forms and other lead aggregators or sites, Demand IQ is outperforming. We also saw that our marketing costs attributed to Demand IQ performs better than traditional marketing efforts. So our cost per inquiry in general has changed significantly in our favor. It's now comparable and in some cases lower than other tools and vendors, with an average of around 4,000% on return on ad spend. I recently had a discussion with some of our team members, and they told me if we were to treat you as a lead aggregator, you would be the most profitable. That's
Wow.
if we were to treat it like that. Yeah.
I mean, David, together we kind of are that, right? Like with you running
Hmm.
the media and us providing some of that funnel system, like it kind of is, right? Like
Yes.
it's internal. It's just an internal lead source. So what I'm
Hmm.
hearing you say is that it is the best performing lead source that you have. Is that right?
Those were the results from our most recent reports. Yeah.
Got it. And you said 4,000% ROAS. Is that what I heard you say?
Yes, 4,000 return on ad spend. That's our average. There's been weeks where we've gotten a little bit over that, and I think that's because we're approaching the holidays. But around 4,000% return on ad spend. Yep.
Got it. And you guys are spending, reasonable money, like more than, a few $100. Like this is like on a scale that's pretty meaningful in terms of your sales volume. Like how does that how does that impact your sales as a company? Like what, as a percentage, or like how has this helped you guys on a monthly basis hit your sales goals?
Well, it's really helped our sales team, and our salespeople love it. I think they've only provided us with good feedback. At the beginning, they did not know how it worked, like what did the customer experience. So we actually had them go through our funnel and kind of experience it, and like, you go here, this is the ad you'd see. This is where you go. This is the page. This is what you'll see at the end. And this is what will happen on our end, how we're going to reach out. And they just loved it. And after a few times that they were out for appointments for Demand IQ, they realized, people, because they already got that information online, they already have some knowledge when they arrive for their appointment. So our sales team really, 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 really like Demand IQ, and we've seen great results. And I believe we're closing very well for our year in a couple of weeks. And yeah, it's only been good stuff. Of course, since it's a new tool, At first, we just had to work with our team and kind of explain how it worked, right? Because we had to make everyone aware of what this tool is, how it worked, what our pitch is going to be, because the customer actually knows something this time. They know something different. Like you said, like they got this ballpark estimate, they got this price, they know it's custom, so it's not your typical warm lead that is just interested. They're very invested and they have some information, and because of that they have expectations. So that's why I said that the most important part of everything is having a great team that is prepared to deal and fulfill those expectations.
The shifty team that's able to, move around as technology and opportunities move, right? Like you were saying, it's being flexible and being open.
Yep.
Um, okay, cool. So, what was your experience like setting it up and kind of getting it going? Like, what should people expect when, signing up with Demand IQ? Like, what are some of the things that some of the realities and some of the, what should people think?
Well, I would say that the onboarding was pretty easy. It's not a complex tool. I believe we have really good support from our rep. When we first started, we were in touch with her very often because we were still trying to set it up. Very basic stuff that was on the platform, but just because it's a new tool, we were just learning how to use it. At first, we sat on it for a little bit because we weren't sure about like how to implement the tool in our current marketing strategies. So we really relied and leaned on our rep to get this, moving forward. And it took us a while actually to get started. And I think looking back, I think not that we wasted some time, but I think we wish we could have acted faster and paid a little bit more, be more focused on launching sooner rather than later. Because after seeing the results, we wish like we should have started earlier on the year, because I believe we were talking about implementing Demand IQ back in July, and we really didn't go full on marketing Demand IQ until like probably mid September. So it did take us a while to do that, and like I said, it did take some training on our end with our teams, with our reps internally to get this going. But I would say the overall experience was great, the onboarding and the support. And I personally found a lot of value at this mastermind sessions that we've had. See what other companies are doing, how they're improving. The first time that I attended one of those, I was taking notes about, like, I know it's different industries, but I see in that, I was like, oh, they're doing that, and taking notes and see how I can improve our own strategy and our own setup. And I think we're not doing endless iterations of our funnel, but the ones that we have running are performing very well.
Good, good, good. And David, I know you're on these masterminds, but probably a lot of people listening to this don't know what that is. And so for anyone listening, customers have access to basically a roundtable conversation with other Demand IQ customers. So other people that are in David's shoes, that are in roofing, some of them insurance, some of them more retail, some of them in even HVAC or solar, other industries. And there's so much to learn from other people who are in similar shoes. So that's what he's referring to with the mastermind, is like this customer cohort of people that we sit down with weekly, and of David, has been a great contributor to that community. So for anyone who's considering signing up for Demand IQ, that's a huge thing that I believe is tremendously valuable as an addition. But changing gears here, David, I'm curious where you see things going as we look to the future, and as we think about like roofing or exteriors, like what what's going to be important as a marketer to pay attention to?
I think customers or customer expectations are heading towards simplicity, as we've talked. People have gotten comfortable with digital tools across every area of their lives. They don't want complex processes. They don't want 10 back and forth emails. They don't want a vague quoting process. I think the companies that build intuitive experiences, whether that's online estimates or transparent pricing, as we've talked about, or smart onboarding, will win. Not because they're flashy or it's AI, but because they're aligned with how people already operate.
And David, just one last question for you. Is there anything else that you'd want the Demand IQ listeners to know, or anything you'd want them to take away from for their business right now?
Sure. Here at Great Lakes, we're closing the year strong and preparing for major growth in 2026. And something important is happening in the industry right now. A lot of big companies have closed or downsized. Renova Home Partners, Reborn Cabinets, Dreamstyle, New Pro, Minnesota Roscoe, and that has displaced a lot of talented professionals. So we've already hired nearly 10 people and we're still hiring. If someone listening was affected or if they're simply looking for a high performance environment with real upward mobility, check our careers page on our website, greatlakeshomeremodeling.com. We're growing and we're looking for strong talent to grow with us.
So for anyone that was impacted by the things that David is mentioning, some of these closures, our hearts go out to you. But I can say firsthand, I've worked with David and his team, and they are awesome people. And I certainly think that it's a great opportunity for career growth. And for anyone who's in that position, you should definitely check out their careers page. That's it for now, folks. Thank you for tuning in to What Converts, the Demand IQ podcast. We hope that you got some actionable insights that help you turn more of your prospects into customers. And again, big thank you to David for joining us. If you found this episode valuable, please like or subscribe. Maybe leave us a review or a comment. And if you want to share this with another friend, please go ahead and do that. For more tips, resources, episodes, go to demandiq.com/podcast or /blog to check out all of our content. Until next time, folks, keep focusing on what converts. Thanks again.